Britain's relations with China have weathered many a storm since 1984, when the historic agreement to hand back Hong Kong was struck. The colony's last governor, Chris Patten, was famously branded a sinner for 1,000 years by a top Chinese official in the 1990s. Prince Charles, meanwhile, described the 1997 handover as the Great Chinese Takeaway. Even the joint declaration, the agreement on Hong Kong's return, is largely expressed in terms of China says this, Britain says that. Relations are now at rock bottom. Britain has been fiercely critical of political developments in the city since the imposition of a new national security law in 2020. The UK has opened its doors to Hong Kongers with British national overseas passports and removed its 2 serving judges from the city's top court. In May, British Foreign Office Minister James Cleverly said that the security law had been used to curtail freedom, punish dissent and shrink the space for opposition, free press and civil society. But critics of the British government point out that it is passing its own controversial legislation to curb protests and protect national security. It's easy to see why Britain stands accused of hypocrisy. Its public order bill would criminalise many tactics used by climate change activists. Police would be able to ban protests they believe could be seriously disruptive and use new powers to search suspects. Home Secretary Priti Patel has said the new law backs the police to prevent anti-social protests from disrupting people's lives. In remarks similar to those of Hong Kong officials, she said freedom of expression is not absolute and must be balanced with the rights and freedoms of others. There are concerns about the new law's impact. Green groups have labelled it draconian. One Green Party Member of Parliament described it as a public oppression bill. Britain's National Security Bill, meanwhile, covers areas such as sabotage, espionage and foreign interference. Some of the themes are similar to parts of Hong Kong's security law, although the British version is much more detailed. These developments in the UK raise legitimate concerns about the protection of civil liberties and weaken the British government's position when criticising Hong Kong. But the comparisons cannot be taken too far. Britain has not ordered the mass arrest of opposition Labour Party politicians. Opposition-leaning newspapers such as The Guardian and The Mirror have not closed or been subject to police investigations. Then there is the parliamentary process, where the government's first bid to pass the protest law was derailed in the House of Lords. And ultimately, if people don't like the legislation, they can vote the government out of office. But whether in Britain or Hong Kong, laws that restrict human rights need to be approached with caution to ensure the freedoms remain intact. Both face pressing challenges. The UK is battling a cost of living crisis while dealing with the war in Ukraine and the aftermath of Brexit. The government has been rocked by scandals, from rule-breaking lockdown parties to the arrest of an MP accused of rape. Hong Kong, meanwhile, approaches the 25th anniversary of the handover with an urgent need to restore an international reputation battered by the city's political transformation and tough approach to the pandemic. Hong Kong desperately needs the new chapter promised by incoming Chief Executive John Lee. Let us hope he makes good on his pledge to build a city that is caring, inclusive, diverse and full of vibrancy and hope. Hong Kong and its former colonial rulers have historical links that will not go away. Britain will maintain its interest in the city. The finger-pointing and extreme rhetoric on both sides is not helpful. Now, more than ever, there is a need for a more constructive approach to put relations back on track.